Isn't it funny how memory works? How we rely on an unreliable witness to shape our every action, opinion, and feeling? Hopefully this will be a record you can count on, listener. Hopefully the broadcast you're about to hear will be a comforting reflection of life as it is. But if not, will you remember? How will you witness this night as it passes you by? How will you remember it? If you don't, will it matter? The time is 11:30 p.m. and pending future corrections, future omissions, and omitted futures. This is the Shadow Dispatch. Welcome back, David and Ewan.
Thanks for having us back, because, we work here.
I think the weekly welcome is nice. Makes me feel important.
You alright, man? You look kind of beat. Do you need some more coffee or something?
No, I'm still nursing this one. I'm sorry, I'm just tired from moving boxes all day and stuff. I'll be good once we start going.
Totally fair. Oh, let's start off with some good news for our listeners.
Yeah.
The gate to the infinite corn maze has finally been sealed after the Festival of Recon managed to locate the final missing person, young Mahendra Reza. Upon rescue, the 9-year-old reportedly asked, "Can we go again?"
Aww. Cute and weird.
Additionally, Salem PD is still out in force tracking down the escaped stalkwalkers. They ask if you come across an unfamiliar scarecrow or conspicuous trail of tall grass that you call 911 immediately.
My god, if I don't see another corn cob for as long as I live, it'll be too soon.
I mean, to be honest, I'd go back. On a full moon, though. That would be a workout.
You would, wouldn't you? And what, am I supposed to go in after you? Before it closes, clean up the leftovers, and then take you out?
Yeah, exactly. That's what friends are for.
You wouldn't catch me dead inside that thing.
Oh, come on, Cheryl. You would have loved it. It had corn and...
Are you gonna finish that sentence, or...?
Nah, actually, it was just mostly corn, really.
Well, listeners, we were going to discuss the festival at the top of the show, but then we were going over topics to bring up, and we kind of went overboard. Turns out we all have a lot to say about the festival, so we're going to be posting our chat as a behind-the-scenes special on our podcast feed. You'll also find an in-depth article by our own Ewan Taylor on our website, shadowdispatch.com. So moving on to some current news. David, what you got for us this evening?
Okay, so, I go figure, I had actually written a piece on farmer Gavril Petrikov's super cattle, which were unveiled at the festival, but this story straight out of Marblehead takes precedence, I think. The state police have issued a missing persons report after the disappearance of beloved children's television star wizard Cormac Walsh of Uncle Cormac's Cauldron.
Wait, Uncle Cormac? Like, from the local TV show?
Yeah. He's a bit of a local celebrity. Well, I mean, not just local. He ran a children's magical education series from 81 to 97. It started out on local channels and then got picked up nationally.
Shit, I mean, I used to watch that when I was homesick as a kid.
A lot of people did. I remember seeing one episode of his show back when I got into a real public high school for the first time, and I was hooked. He had such an accessible way for newbies to learn magic. Like, it was marketed towards children, but anybody could follow his classes. It was very sweet.
Yeah, he was an inspiration for anyone starting to get into witchcraft. Well, what happened exactly?
His neighbors reported him missing this morning. They noticed that there was some inconsistencies in his usual schedule, which he had been following for years. He would always bring fresh baked goods to the children's bus stop in the morning. A neighbor said that the treats that he would make gave kids an extra boost for the school day. Some said it was magic. I personally think it was probably just caffeine. But he hadn't shown up for an entire week, and the neighbors had assumed that he was sick or something until they noticed his dog whimpering at the window trying to get out.
Jesus.
Yeah, luckily Cormac had given her a spare key to the house for emergency uses, so fearing the worst, she let herself in, and he was gone. He was just missing. The family filed a report, but the police haven't been able to find any concrete clues as to where he went.
Wow. Well, I hope they find something. He was so... David.
What?
You have the look.
Oh, God,
I don't know what you're talking about.
What weird shit have you found online?
Well, guys, as there always are with these kinds of unsolved cases, there have been some conspiracy theories.
Here we go.
So, the police have yet to find too much direct evidence apart from the state of his home, which suggests that there may have been some kind of a struggle, likely a forced entry, but there were no fingerprints, no broken windows, nothing.
Could a magic user have undone the locks?
I mean, easily. That is a common theory, but, Cormac would have probably had counter curses on all of his doorknobs and stuff like that. There's also a prevalent theory that he may have been thralled.
Vampires? I mean, it's possible, but do you have any idea how hard it is to thrall a magic user?
Sure. That's why it's just a theory. However, there was a blood trail found in the neighborhood leading off into the adjacent golf course. While this doesn't directly point to vampire activities, it raises some eyebrows. That being said, if it is a case of a vampire, it might just be a one-off thing, but some nosy people on Reddit have made some fringe comparisons to what the internet has been referring to as the 5-year Nightwalker case.
I think I've heard about that. Isn't that an unconfirmed case, though?
It is. I think it's worth pointing out, though, back in 1949, there were several disappearances in the New England area that were attributed to vampire activity. Today, we know that all of the bodies that were found were very powerful magic users, and they were also drained, but weirdly drained. The bite marks were almost surgical, and there was weird residue left on their veins. Nobody was ever charged, and the buzz died down, until it happened again in 1954, and then again in 1959, and 1964, etc., every 5 years. All these cases were unique enough that they couldn't really be connected officially by the police, but people paying close attention are definitely noticing a pattern going on.
Definitely sounds like it could have been a ritual if it's all connected. For
sure. But nobody can pinpoint a specific ritual that follows these rules, so there have been some theories suggesting that it may be a serial killer, on a weird schedule or something, but it's also been so long at this point that attributing it to any one person is pretty unrealistic, unless they were an immortal.
Like a vampire.
Right. Not definitely, but possibly. And good God, that's really insensitive, isn't it? I'm sorry.
It's not. I covered a story really similar to this in, well, go figure, it was 2004. The victims were found entirely drained of fluids, missing flesh in some places, and had really strange feeding marks. Jagged and deep, but weirdly perfect.
So like a strigoi, maybe? Or like that surfing shark vampire?
The surfing what vampire?
No, a strigoi wouldn't have that kind of planning abilities. For a vampire, depending on the strand of curse and the bloodline, the feeding teeth and methods can really vary. Also, drinking from animals can cause behavioral and even physiological mimicking.
Good God, is that where a shark vampire comes from? Jesus.
I'll show you his Instagram later, it's pretty dope. Cheryl, continue.
I mean, it could be an animal feeder, although most apex predators aren't really that palatable. I guess if a vampire ate a lot of snakes or something, but I don't think there's ever been a recorded case of that happening. The organization is what's getting me, though.
So what other theories have been thrown around?
Well, those few that I just mentioned are the most popular, and what a lot of people are looking into with the Cormac case, but the forums are filled to the brim with other weird ones, and a lot of them tend to tie back to the information found within the 5-year structure. The weird residue on the veins has been even linked to possible alien activity, War of the Worlds style, trying to siphon off magical energies from humans.
Stop. Go back. Why the hell would they need to do that?
We got magic blood, dude.
Yeah, I'm an alien and I can travel 1 billion light years in a spaceship, but I can't make magic, so I'm gonna go steal it from the monkey people. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Look, I didn't say all these theories were perfect. Another one, and one of my personal favorites, is that there's a secret cabal of wizards doing this to steal powers from other wizards to make a super wizard.
Any other details on that one?
Literally none of that is based in fact.
I mean, that's never stopped Reddit.
Let's see what else. Lizard men eating flesh to gain power, which is honestly a little racist, so let's skip over that one. Something Spellmart of all things is behind it, and while not realistic, that one's pretty interesting if you want to look that up.
Well, seems about as believable as any of the other theories on the list. The fact that they're all magic users is definitely an important detail. And I know I'm fixated on this, but okay, there are rumors that feeding on potently magical blood can have some powerful effects on vampires, but it's incredibly dangerous and unpredictable, so people don't do it.
Do you mean to say that magic actually adds more than a hickory smoke flavor?
Yeah, but that's mostly conjecture. I hate this, but it could easily be what's considered a traditional vampire family. There are a lot of folks out there who say they're tired of being ashamed for their lifestyle.
For drinking person blood, not synthetic blood.
Right. And a lot who might go to extreme lengths to become more physically and supernaturally intimidating. I don't know, though. David, I would love to see your notes on all these theories.
Seriously? I thought you hated conspiracy theories.
I'm not ready to rule out any possibilities on this one. I can't imagine who would do something like this to Uncle Cormac.
Sure. God, yeah, I know. We can do coffee after the show if you want to talk about it.
All right. Well, before we move on from the news and head to our next segment, I'd like to go over another story quick, which comes out of Germany. Now, as you may remember, there's protesting in Berlin that has now reached its 14th straight week. Tensions have also increased in this time between the German Free State around Königsberg, the Soviet Union, and the German Republic in the West.
Right, that was the privatization of the rail system, right?
Yeah, exactly. But now that's the main protest, but this one is an entirely different separatist group, and they've taken over the Unveiling Memorial in New Hamburg.
Uh-oh, Germans taking over government buildings generally doesn't end too great.
Now, the building currently stands as a memorial to the lives lost in the magical ritual performed by Leopold Prosch and the other dissenters within the magical community of Germany during the war. Now, they were going to...
Okay, Ewan, before you go any further, listeners, if you're unfamiliar with Prosch, we'll be doing an in-depth look at the unveiling in a few weeks, where we'll talk about his devastating contribution to the war and how it changed history.
Thank you for keeping me on track, Cheryl. I could go on about that for ages. So this group of separatists has occupied the memorial building, presumably in hopes of drawing attention to their cause. Now, I'm not one to make political judgments. Hey,
really?
But I will say that this group is one of the most niche uprisings I've ever seen. They're apparently a faction of neo-Catholic werefolk and vampires hoping to proclaim an inhuman state. Yeah.
That is very different from a train protest.
Yeah, no, it's pretty different. Among their demands are, and I quote, the freedom of our father, Ulrich Strauss, the release of all lands east of Hanover and north of Munich, and the blood of the false chancellor, Christina Rumheld.
Well, that escalated fast.
Yeah, and that's after they dropped the demands for some of the darker things.
So what's your read on the matter? What do you think are their chances of success?
So at last count, they numbered at about 36 members, but groups like these seem to pop up all over Europe, so who knows if the government will ever fully put them down. They were in Romania a few years ago. They tried to bomb the Vatican back in 2006.
Didn't you just say they were Catholic?
I mean, to be honest, I think that's just their aesthetic. They all champion the teachings of Ulrich Strauss, and I might even respect their tenacity if their ideology wasn't batshit insane.
So what kind of teachings does this Ulrich guy have anyway, then?
It's largely inhuman supremacy stuff. It really appeals to the poor and the lonely. Only one of his books has been translated to English, and I don't know if it was lost in translation, but it was just awful.
Wow, what a creep. Well, we do have to move on, but we'll keep an eye on this story as it develops. Up next, we'll be joined in the studio by local holistic witch Winnie Deadwood, who'll teach us some fun tricks that you can do at home to boost your spell production without the need of unethical brand ingredients. But before that, let's hear an ad from a sponsor.
Oh, Vlad, we cannot keep meeting like this.
But my love, I crave the sweet, sweet taste of your kiss.
It is so wrong, my darling. What will our human friends think?
My teensy fangy dumpling. But it's not.
But, Daddy baby, you don't mean.
And it's all positive flavoring, my itsy wingy wonder. Your favorite.
I can't believe you found it.
Believe it, darling. It has your favorite viscosity.
I can't believe it has a texture as smooth as your voice.
It has all your favorite flavors.
I can't believe it's not human.
I can't believe how beautiful you look when you feed my little mosquito.
Oh, Vlad.
Oh, Natalya.
I can't believe it's not human. Brand Synthetic Blood. America's favorite healthy alternative to biting your friend since 1996. Find it wherever you get your groceries.
As many of you listeners may know, a growing number of privately owned magical ingredient shops across the country have been taking major hits with the rise of low-pan pharmaceutical. As a result, prices of ingredients with magical properties have skyrocketed, putting many independent companies out of business and magical practitioners out of work. Here to talk about this hot topic and to discuss some fun tips to help circumvent these restrictions, we have local kitchen witch and YouTube celebrity, Winona Deadwood.
Hey! Please call me Winnie.
Winnie, it is a delight to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Carrie.
Oh, it's Cheryl.
Oh, damn, I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. Thank you so much for coming. I know it's a late-night program, so we really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us.
Oh, thanks. You know, I had a bit of a hard time finding the place, but I was able to park Randy right out front. It's so convenient.
Oh, you're driving with a friend?
Oh, no, Randy's the van.
You named your van Randy.
Yeah! Look, he's right outside your window. You can't miss him.
Oh, I think I see. Oh. My.
Gorgeous, isn't he?
I suppose in a sense he's the most amazing van I've ever seen.
Well, you certainly have taste. Now, Winnie, you have been very publicly against Pan Pharma for quite a while now, and you claim to be quite an advocate for the backlashes against them in the magical community. Can you summarize the issue that Pan is posing in a little more detail?
Oh, sure. I used to be such a fan of them years ago when they were primarily a drug supplier. Xanax is such a potent ingredient in lucid dreaming potions, and they were the best place to get it.
You put what in your potions?
But then about 5 years ago, I started noticing that all the roots and herbs I used all the time for my more powerful spells and recipes were getting too expensive. And I was selling all my goods out of the van without turning a profit. Had no idea the two things were related. But I went to go see Uncle Cormac, before the abduction. If you're listening, I hope they find you, by the way. And he said that it was all Pan's fault.
Because they bought out all the herb farms, right?
Exactly! They swallowed as many farms as they could and started selling all the same ingredients for 3 times the price. At first I thought, wow, why didn't I think of that? But then I thought about just how unethical the whole thing was. I mean, they were putting people out of business. And after they started putting cattle in those cramped barns, their bones became so brittle and weak, totally unusable. I had to start getting my ribs from graveyards outside of town.
Winnie, I think grave robbing's illegal in Massachusetts.
It's Miss Deadwood, Dave. Anyway, after I found out what they were doing, I dedicated my life to finding better, more ethical ways to do magic in your daily life. That's why I started my Lifehack YouTube channel, Rolling with Randy.
Can I ask why you called it that specifically? I haven't actually seen the channel yet.
Well, 'cause I'm filming out of the van, obviously.
Yeah, Ewan. Obviously. To jump off of that, I'm sure our listeners are interested to hear about what you do on your channel and what type of shortcuts you offer your viewers during these price spikes.
Well, for anybody interested, I am selling original products out of my van. For example, we got your depression crystals, productivity rocks, and good old devil's lettuce, all ethically sourced alternatives to the popular trash at Pan, and cheaper as well. But for all you witches brewing at home, I give some great little lessons on how to cultivate your own ingredients. Home gardens are very common nowadays and a great way to grow ingredients right at home. You just need to invest in some seeds.
That's actually something I've been really interested in trying out for myself. I just changed apartments recently and my current place doesn't have a courtyard though, so I can't really plant because I don't have that space. What do you recommend that I do instead?
That's a great question. If you can't plant outside, plenty of witches grow plants in their windows. Amanda Wilworth down in Kensington has a great little garden where she grows mandrake roots, and she grows so many that she doesn't notice when they go missing. And old man Jeremy Crane down near the park has these enchanted mushrooms that, anyway, there's a lot you can do. Living in a van does have its setbacks though, namely, no bathroom. That is such a setback. But also no place to put a window garden. No problem. Community gardens are everywhere.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few of those around.
Yeah, I think Coven's kind of put them up all over the city during the spring.
Exactly. My personal favorite is one by the Brooker Hollow Community College. They have such interesting plants there, and since it's under a greenhouse, they can grow year-round.
I'm not actually sure that garden's for the public.
What? No, sure it is. Anyway, those are my tips on cultivating plant-based ingredients, but if you can't find any good fresh plants, any number of other easy-to-find ingredients can have magical properties. If you want to see a list of those, look for my Uncommon Common Brews video on my YouTube channel, Rollin' with Randy. For example, I make these little anti-anxiety charms out of coffee grounds, garlic salt, iron rust from the van, and lavender.
Winnie, Miss Deadwood, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Iron may have some magical properties on its own, but I know garlic is very risky to put in enchantments and can even cause a lot of adverse effects, and coffee grounds is nothing. That's just nothing.
Well, tell it to my listeners, Dan. Look, you seem stressed out, and if you want to fully explore your magical potential, you need to unwind. I recommend one of my anti-anxiety charms, which you can purchase at my van for only $12.99. They'll help with the stress, but I don't know if it can do anything about that stick up your ass.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Winnie. It was an absolute delight. We look forward to having you on the show again soon.
Happy to be here. Hit me up whenever you like.
All right, listeners, we're going to take a brief break to hear from a sponsor and then get to some calls from you.
Hello, my fellow fleshmen. Do you, like me, constantly worry about the adverse effects of all those enchantments and runes on your precious skeleton? Does it sometimes feel like it's jostling around inside all of your meat? Your bones yearn to be free, friend, but you mustn't let them. Those beautiful calcium bricks within you are yours by divine right. Allow me to introduce you to my spectacular elixir, the one and only Skeleton Calming Tonic. Just one swig of this a night, and you'll soon be able to sleep tight without all those pesky bone jostles and shakes. Perfect for children, the elderly, and all those with delightfully little skin between their skeleton and sweet, sweet freedom.
Well, Shadow people, it's almost midnight, so you know that means it's time to hear from some of you. Give us a call and let us know what's on your mind. Oh, looks like we've already got a call lined up. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? What's your question?
Hey, Ricardo C. Mothmann here. Have you folks noticed how unseasonably wet it's been lately? My cellar flooded and ruined some recording equipment I've been keeping from my nephew. Oh, Lordy.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Ricardo, but it's good to hear from an old friend of the show.
Oh, thanks, Cheryl. Any advice on how to keep dry or how to make it up to them? It's never too late to mend, right?
Well, I've heard, I guess Tucson's pretty good this time of year. Maybe you guys can have a nice trip out there.
Tucson? Oh, all right. That's in Arizona, right? Okay, Tucson. Well, thanks, friend. Have a beautiful night. Remember, sit down and rest yourself. Sitting's cheaper than standing.
You too, Ricardo. Thanks. Nice guy. Weird advice.
Oh, shit, guys, I should probably run home and check my basement.
Oh, come on. What do you mean? It hasn't even actually rained in a while.
Ewan, it's okay. You know, these things are never that literal. Thank you so much for the heads up, Ricardo. Let's see who's on line 2. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, this is Trixie, and I'm just calling to say that your special guest was so fantastic.
Thanks. Trixie, was it?
Yeah, I really loved what she had to say about foraging, and I can't wait to check out her van. In the meantime, I'm going to smash that subscribe and leave a 5-star review.
Okay, thank you, Trixie. You have a great night.
Thank you, Cherry. Also, I heard that Winnie is going to be making...
Whoops.
What's that?
I mean, it sounded like her, right?
She's standing outside her van. I just watched her hang up the phone.
Okay, I know she's a little crazy, but man, I love that witch. Let's move on to another caller. You're on the air. What's your name? What's your question?
Hey there, Sam here.
Hey, Sam, long time no call. What's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to call to ask, why are you broadcasting during the daytime?
Sam, it's just after midnight here in Salem. Are you calling from a different time zone? You better not be getting hit with roaming fees. I'm not paying for that.
What are you talking about? It's clearly...
Sam? Everything all right, Sam?
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not right. That's not right. That's not...
Okay.
Always a joker,
All
that's
right.
Sam. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? What's your question?
Fuck! Shit! Shit, my coffee!
God damn it.
Oh,
David,
fuck.
get
Oh,
away from the
no.
console.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Turn
I'm
off
sorry.
the
I'm
mixer.
sorry.
We're cutting your music.
This episode of The Shadow Dispatch was written and created by Patrick Flood, Vince Marcellino, and Suzanna Bornn. The voice of Cheryl was Suzanna Bornn, the voice of David was Vince Marcellino, and the voice of Ewan was Patrick Flood. Supporting cast for our ad blocks and guest segments featured Tressa Brooks, Trevor Braun, Jenna Wood, Shae Fitzgerald, and Michael A. Lake. A special thanks to 2Mellow for the use of our theme music. check out more of their work at twomellowmakes.bandcamp.com. If you're interested in the opportunity of having your music featured in our show, or have any other questions, please contact us at askshadowdispatch.gmail.com. For more information, follow us on Twitter at ShadowDispatch, or visit our website, shadowdispatch.com. Tune in next time at WTCH Radio, and have a good night.